Today, it's my honor to talk to a true music legend, a rock and roll Hall of Famer, and a founding member of the legendary Jackson 5. Good evening, Tito Jackson. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
You are not in your hometown in Las Vegas right now. You are in the UK, in Europe. What are you doing in Europe right now?
Well, I'm in the United Kingdom right now, promoting my album, my newest and latest release entitled "Under Your Spell."
But you are also there to watch your favorite football club, I
Oh
saw on
yeah, of
social
course.
media.
That's a given. Yes, I love the Wolverhampton Wolves, so I try to check out a game every time I'm here. So it's nice to go to the game over the past weekend and see them take the victory.
So you are not a American football or baseball fan, or are these sports you are also interested in?
No, I like a few sports. I like basketball. Baseball's probably my favorite, and also American football as well. So I enjoy sports as well.
You were also in England a few weeks ago and played again live with your brothers, with the Jacksons. You played in England and also in Belgium after a long time living in the pandemic. How was it like being finally on stage again?
Well, we had a lot of engagements that was scheduled for the time of the pandemic that got moved and pushed and canceled and what have you. And when we heard we was coming to the UK to do the Happy Days Festival, we were all very happy just to get out and play music because we hadn't performed in maybe over a year and a half, down, close to. And we also went to Belgium as well and performed the festival there.
You
So we
performed,
have
yeah.
so we have a few more to go this year. We're going to Monte Carlo next month to do a show, and I have a few performances myself on a cruise, which I'm skeptical, but I might have to go contractually. But then I have a festival in Long Beach, California. So we're starting to pick up again. Do
And
a lot of
hopefully you are coming back to Germany soon with your brothers.
love to come to Germany. All I have to do is be booked by one of your famous promoters there, and I'll be there.
Perfect. You performed with your brothers Marlon and Jackie. Why didn't Jermaine come with you?
Well, I think Jermaine is probably taking breaks and wants to do other ventures, other types of businesses. And he's not so sure if he's going to continue show business or not. I say he will, because it's in the blood, but we'll see.
Yeah, all of your siblings, you say adventures, all of your siblings also released solo records. You were, until a few years ago, the remaining sibling who didn't have a solo record out. But in 2016, it was finally Tito Time. And now in August, you released your second solo album, Under Your Spell. Is it a dream come true to finally have two solo albums out there?
Yeah, well, it's something that I had planned to work out this way. People often used to ask me all the time years ago, how come you don't have a record or are you ever going to do an album? I tell them someday, 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 because I wanted to be the father that was around my kids and not be running around like I am now, promoting records and what have you, having young sons such as 3T. And now they're older, they're grown, and I have all the time in the world to do my thing. So I've been releasing albums every 3, 4 years, whatever. And enjoying it just as much as I did when I was much younger. And it just seems to be a lot of fun in this work, and I'm enjoying the music more than anything.
Tito Time was a pop and R&B record, and Under Your Spell is a blues record. I think blues is in your heart, or Tito?
Yes, blues is in my heart. I think it's in everyone's heart when you think about where the music, if pop music and R&B music come from. Everyone loves blues, whether they know it or not. But I tried to put a record together that had elements of other genres, whether it was rock and blues or just your R&B sound or your whatever. I just wanted to put together something that everyone can enjoy. I don't consider my album as a blues, traditional blues record. I try to give a happy spirit and feel in the music, where type of album you can put on and feel happy. And whether it's at a barbecue or a picnic, a day in the park, or just taking a long drive in the car, it's an easy album to listen to. And I'm very excited about the collaborations I have on the album as well.
Yeah, you put together the album during the pandemic, but for your album, the pandemic was a good thing, Tito.
Yeah, it was a good thing because I was able to reach out to some of my family and friends and ask them to participate. I recorded a song with my friend George Benson, along with Stevie Wonder, and I have Eddie Levert from the OJs on the album, as well as my brother Marlon Jackson and Kenny Mill and Bobby Rush. So we have nice collaborations. And also we have Claudette King, who's the daughter of B.B. King. We did a song for a special, one of his special songs. We remade it as a tribute to B.B.
Yeah, it's the song Rock Me Baby, a really great version. And you also played with the B.B. King Blues Band a couple of years ago. Is it right?
Yes, I toured with them for approximately a year, I would say. And we had a lot of fun on stage. And they released a nice album about a year ago and got busy. Then COVID set in, of course. But they're continuing to perform and do their thing.
And you already mentioned several names you worked with, George Benson, Joe Bonamassa, Marlon Jackson, for example, or Stevie Wonder. But you also worked with Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff, and you brought them back out of retirement. How did you do that?
Well, I had asked Eddie Levert, who's a member of the OJs singing group, which Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff written many hits for them. When he agreed to participate in my album, I didn't have a song for us to sing. He has such a strong voice and his style is a little different from mine. So since Kenny Gamble and Leon has written for the two artists, I said, why not? And let's see if they have something or can write something to put something together for us. And of course, they put together a wonderful track entitled All in the Family Blues. And it's just about families and family relations and things of that nature.
Yeah, and you also worked with Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff on two Jacksons records. The Jacksons, the first album you put out on Epic Records, and Going Places is produced by Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff. And so there's a connection to the good old times. And yeah. All in the Family Blues, family and blues. The blues always played a big role in your family, Tito. Is it right?
Yes, well, my father, prior to the Jackson 5 days, he and his brother would get together with their guitars, amps, and jam in the living room. And I used to just sit there and stare at what they were doing. And I took a liking to the music as well as the instrument. So, yes. And my parents listened to a lot of blues. when we were very young, and as well as we performed blues in our show. We had about 5 to 6 blues songs in the catalog of songs that we would do prior to even reaching the Motown days.
Yeah, you always sense a bit of blues also in the Jackson 5 music, I think. And without you, Tito, and without your love for the guitar, the Jackson 5 may have never happened. Tito, can you quickly tell the story about the broken string?
Yes, that's what people tell me all the time, or I've heard before. Yeah, at the time when my father was playing with my uncle, they would get together on Saturdays or weekends or what have you. And my father that would put his guitar away after they jam, and he pointed his finger to myself, Jackie, and Jermaine. We were older boys. Michael Marlon was much too young. He said, "When I'm going to work, and don't you touch my guitar. Don't you touch my guitar." I was curious. Why can't I touch his guitar? So I started taking the guitar out the closet, and my mom would let me play the guitar until we put it back before my father get home. I broke the string on the guitar and didn't know how to repair it or what to do. And she said, "Just put it away. I'll talk to him." So I put the guitar away. My father goes to play his guitar and we recognize that there's a broken string, and he is furious. And after that, he my bottom and beat my bottom, and then put me in the living room as I'm crying and put in my lap and says, "Show me what you know." And I'm playing and crying. And he was surprised to learn that I knew how to play something on the guitar. So he gave me the guitar and told me, "I want you." I said, "I'm going to give you this guitar here, but I want you to learn every song you like on the radio." So I started learning Temptation songs and Motown and Isley Brothers. And we would try to sing these songs in the bedroom, Jermaine and Jackie and myself. And that, I think that was the beginning of us singing modern songs at that time. Because before we would harmonize this one song with my mother called "Cotton Fields Back Home." It was more of a slave song, actually, I would say. But at that time, we would be trying to mimic the Isley Brothers or the Temptations or whoever, the popular song was at that time. And Michael Marlon used to beg to be in a group, and we say, "No, you're too young. Get out the room. This is for big boys." We heard Michael singing at school, and we rushed him home. We couldn't believe the sounds we were hearing, and added him to the band along with Marlon, and we continued to rehearse. And my father used to tell us to be quiet, making the noise. "I gotta go to work. I'm trying to get some rest. Why are you making all these noises?" And until one day my mother said, "I think you really need to listen to them. I think they might have something." My father was convinced that we couldn't sing. Them boys can't sing. Okay? He finally gave us audition, and I guess he was very surprised at what he was seeing or hearing or imagining, because he took a paycheck and went and bought all type of instruments on loan and the whole bit. And he would set up the microphones and have us rehearsing every day for years. And that's how it started.
Yeah, and the rest is history. But when I'm when I'm correctly informed, you didn't play the guitar on any of the Jackson 5 studio recordings. Is it right, Tito?
That's very true, because the main reason I believe we didn't get to play is because Motown had what they call the funk band, and they had their team of studio musicians that they've used on not only just our records, but on Smokey, Temptations. These same guys played on all of these records. That was their band. And I was 14, 15 years old, still learning about the guitar basically, and they just felt it wasn't time. But 4 or 5 years later, we moved on to Epic, and not only did we play on our own music, but we also wrote our own music then.
You already mentioned B.B. King as one of your heroes. Are there, besides B.B. King, some other guitarists or blues artists you looked up to back in the day?
Sure. Albert King, uh, Joe Bonamassa, Howlin' Wolf. Uh, I like them all, man. Albert Collins, you just name them. They are John Lee Hooker. I just Jimmy Reed.
They are all great artists. When I look behind you, there's the Love One Another sign, and Love One Another was your first single of Under Your Spell, and I think Love One Another is the less bluesy song on the album. It's a pop record, I would say, but with a very important message.
Yes, this is a song that it has a blues feel to it, as well as, like you said, pop feel. I think that song reaches a lot of genres, but the message in the song is more important than the sound or the feel of the song, because the message is just about everyone spreading and showing love, coming together as one people. So that's what I love most about that song.
Yeah, it's a great song with a great vibe, and it reminds me a little bit because of the message of songs like Can You Feel It, We Are the World, Heal the World, and I think also Michael would have loved this song.
Yes, I think so too. I think Michael would be very proud of this song because of the message in the song. He probably would.
Yeah.
He probably would have wanted to do it himself. It's one of those type of things.
You already mentioned in the early days of the Jackson 5 or the Jackson brothers back in the day, you played a lot of blues. Was Michael also into blues music?
Yes, Michael enjoyed blues as well. All the brothers enjoyed the music. We not only just blues, but we like all type of music, whether it's folk music, blues, country, rock, whatever. We just enjoy music.
Yeah, you are not just bringing people together and people from all around the world, but you also bring music genres together, I always think. And I also think your mother has to be very proud of you, Tito. And you dedicated the album to your mother, Catherine. How is she doing?
My mom is doing very well. She's so precious, but she's doing very well. She's in good health, and we're keeping her safe from this COVID pandemic thing.
Yeah, that's nice to hear. And she's also at the beginning of the music video. Very nice video with many famous people from your family. For example, your sons, TJ, Taj, and Taryll are also in the video. Janet, it's really a great video for all the fans of the Jackson family. Tito, where can people find the record? It's on the streaming platforms, of course.
Yes.
But it's also on CD and vinyl.
Yes, the record company that's presenting the album printed so many special editions, cream-colored vinyls. Also, of course, your blackface vinyls. And we have a limited signed autograph copy edition as well.
COVID is still here, but you want to go out and present the album to the live audience, Tito. I saw you also did a few shows back in the US. Are there any plans to tour Europe, Germany, maybe, for example?
I'm hoping to do that next year, providing that COVID is safe and the whole bit. But the shows I did in the US, I was a special guest on Mike Zito's performance.
Did you already form a band for this project, or will you go on stage with
Yes,
the BB King band?
I already have my band. Yes, I have my band.
Yeah, you are a blues musician since 2003. Are there any musicians from this time in your band now?
No, no. From that time, a few of my musician buddies have passed away, and two of them played with my brothers and myself, David Williams and Joel Scott.
Yeah, David Williams, I think, was on Michael's history tour, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tito, I wish you luck with your album, and I hope to see you live maybe next year or so. And talking about a live performance, we had September 11th, a few weeks ago, 20 years since these bad terrorist attacks in New York City. And because of 9/11, I also remembered the 30th anniversary special at Madison Square Garden, where you and your brothers and Michael, of course, reunited for the first time since, I think, 15 years plus or so. When you look back at this performance, are you glad that this performance could happen?
Yes, because I think that performance marked a time period. It was a staple in Michael's career, and we always tell people, because it's so true, that whether it's Michael, Janet, or the Jackson 5 or Jacksons or 3T, we support each other, and because if you really look at it, if you're reading about Michael Jackson, somewhere you're going to read about the Jackson 5, vice versa. If you're reading about the Jackson 5, somewhere you're going to read about Michael Jackson and Janet and my kids alike. So we're one music family that enjoy what we do. And since we have the tool of music and able to put these songs and music and records together, we choose to always incorporate a message to the world of peace and love. That's the most important thing to this whole world and society. If we can have peace and love, we can have what it is, peace and love.
Yeah, you are right. And these performances on September 7th and 10th of 2001 are a very great example of your family, of your work, of your body of work all these decades. Tito, are you sad that people and oftentimes also the media still say so bad things about Michael?
Well, you know what? They can say what they want. I know my brother, and I know my brother would never hurt anyone. He wasn't that person that people want. Just can't believe it. When the American government have even looked into this whole thing and didn't see anything wrong or foul, have you said. And if they can't leave it alone, maybe they just don't like Michael Jackson, the way I see it. Michael Jackson is an unusual talent. He's very creative, love people, love making people happy, will do anything for anyone. And that's just who he is. And if you don't see it that way, I'm sorry. I can't change your mind. Everyone has a right to think how they want to think.
What do you miss most about Michael?
Just being my brother, just seeing his smile and happiness.
Yeah, he's such a great human being, and 12 years, it's unbelievable that it's already 12 years ago. Such a sad thing. We already talked about the Jacksons. You are on the road from time to time now, more often, hopefully, when COVID is gone. Will there be a new Jacksons record in the future?
We've always talked about putting something together, and who knows, it could be something within the next year or so. But we do have songs that we have right now put aside, and just a few more to be done to complete a LP or something like that.
Okay, we are looking forward to that. The last album was released in 1989. Do you personally listen to the old Jackson 5 and Jackson's records from time to time?
From time to time I do, and that record you just mentioned in 89 is one of my favorite.
It is 2300 Jackson Street.
Jackson Street, exactly. It's one of my favorite, and I think that's some of our best work.
It is. It's really great songs, and I really like listening to it. Michael wasn't part of this album, but Randy was also part, I think. Tito?
Yeah, well, they did sing on some of the songs, like 2300 Jackson Street.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That's a beautiful song. And All Right With Me is one of my favorites of the Jacksons. It's great. Talking about the new generation of Jacksons, your sons, of course, 3T, are successful since the 90s, released a new album back in 2016, Chapter 3. But there are more family members going into the music business. For example, Paris, Michael's daughter, she yesterday played a small gig in Paris Jackson in Paris. Are you proud of Paris? She released a really great album last year.
Yes, I'm very proud of Paris. She loves music as well as everybody else, and she's doing her thing, and I'm proud to see that it is becoming very successful for her. And I wish her all the luck in the world, and I guess the beat goes on, as they say.
Yeah, and TJ has a solo record also coming up, I saw, and he released some great singles in the last month, and I'm looking forward to that. Tito, would you start in the music business these days? What do you think? How did the music business change from back in the day?
Oh, it's changed tremendously. First of all, we didn't have that tool that we're using right now. Back in the day, this interview wouldn't have taken place, or it would have cost one of us a lot of money to talk on the telephone or to fly out to see each other. So that's the biggest change, is social media, internet, computers, and all of that. Because like I was just saying, the type of music I'm doing, it's real musicians, real instruments. It's not computers or samples. So that's another change. So it's changed completely, I would say, just about. There was a time when an artist looked forward to selling millions of records. Now you're lucky if you can sell 100,000.
You're in the music business for so many decades now, since the 60s. When you look back at your career, what are you most proud of?
I'm proud of my solo records. I was a married young man at 18, and I didn't want to do a solo because I was busy with the Jackson 5 and the solo meant I've been double busy and no time for my children and that whole thing. So I wanted to be the correct father, as they say, and be there with my children and raise them when I didn't have that busy schedule with Jackson Brothers. And now is the time for me to do it, and I did it. So I lived the life that I planned.
Yeah, I think you lived a life you can be proud of because of your decision, taking care of your sons and putting great 2 solo records out. It's Tito time now. Thank you very much, Tito Jackson, for taking your time for doing this interview. And I wish you a lot of luck and much success with your album Under Your Spell. And hopefully we get to see each other maybe next year when you're on tour somewhere in Europe or in Germany.
I hope very much so. And thank you for having me on your broadcast.